Alene from Texas, tell us your story.
I just wanted to share a little bit of what happened to me as an FFL agent. Started full-time in March of 2020. Was cruising right along. Of course, I was new in the business, and so I was learning. Into the first year for me, I was doing okay, paying my bills and having a little extra. What I was taught, we had to purchase close to $1,000 a week in leads. While we had a CRM, it wasn't until that fall that there were extra leads being dumped in, a new type. I don't know how they were generated. I soon discovered that the leads I was purchasing were pretty much garbage. Disconnected phone numbers. I'm working my tail off. I'm calling, making 1,000 or more dials a week. Those that I can't get a hold of or haven't set appointments with, I'm door knocking. 60,000 miles in 1 year. That's a lot. But then I soon discovered that a lot of these had bogus addresses. They didn't exist. And like I said, phone numbers, they were disconnected. A lot of the data was just wrong. First, we get small margin of people who answer the phone and so-and-so died a year ago. Why are you calling me now? The percentage of those garbage leads seem to have been increasing into 2021 pretty regularly. Then I also experienced that a lot of the leads I had purchased, I was buying 2 and 3 times. Then other agents were buying the same leads. I bought leads, set appointments, and when I walked in the house, was meeting with these people, soon discovered that another FFL agent was already there. I had the integrity and the honesty to let the person know, you know what, this agent has put you in a pretty good position. Just want you to know that you're doing fine. And if you have any questions, go ahead and call them. And I would leave. I wasn't going to give another FFL agent a chargeback just because I was hungry for a sale.
The main carrier is a company called Americo, which I know for a fact is at the highest commission levels in the industry, severely overpriced in almost every case, except if someone has major medical problems.
Sure.
And FFL agents were taught that this is their main carrier. It is possible when you came in there, if they were an Americo customer and they were relatively healthy, you could have easily replaced that policy.
Oh, absolutely. Easily. Saved them a lot of money. But I wanted to not harm a fellow FFL agent and give them a chargeback. So I was trying to do the right thing for my fellow agent. I was trying to do the right thing for a client. Well, whatever. I don't want to get into that. But anyway.
You don't want to go there. You don't want.
Don't even want to go there. What I did discover, though, David, is that I was getting a lot of chargebacks, even on my Americo sales.
Were you listening to FFL and selling Americo as they were instructing and teaching you to do?
Oh, absolutely. I had the order, which carrier to use and when. And it always started, sell Americo first. Here's the underwriting guidelines. If they can qualify, boom, go for it. The idea was we were going to get you first bonuses. That was a huge deal. I tried, but I never attained a you first bonus.
You're new in the business. You
Yes.
don't really know that much.
Most of my team was in the Phoenix area. Oftentimes I'm feeling like a lone ranger, even though I'm dialing into the weekly meetings and trainings and all that. I did discover that other agents were coming in behind me, even FFL agents, and reselling that. So that proves that they were reselling leads. And I don't know how that part of the business works, but it's not okay.
When you as an insurance agent, if you sell a overpriced policy on Monday, then come back and sell a better deal on Thursday, whether it be 6 months later, a month later, or 2 years later, there's a replacement form that you would have to fill out. Replacement form is to remind the agent there's something weird going on. That goes to the insurance company. I suppose if enough of these replacement forms get filled out, they cancel your contract, and there could be criminal or ethical Department of Insurance issues with it. If it's a person 65 or older, in most states at 65, we would be talking about elder abuse because of this churning. I know when I Googled the word elder abuse, California was 4 years in jail.
My mindset was I didn't have to worry about that because I was having the best interest in mind for my clients.
So you physically weren't replacing your own clients with something else a year later?
Absolutely not.
That's your get out of jail free card.
Okay.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
When I'm investing almost $1,000 a week in leads and my return on investment is only 300, something's wrong. Because by then I've increased my phone skills, my sales skills. I'm cruising right along. I was on the leaderboards, David. I can show you snapshot pictures. Of course, they're not allowed to do that anymore.
Do you have access to the FFL back office now?
I doubt it. I haven't even tried. I'm just so disgusted, so angry that a company who brags about treating their clients best in the business, treating their agents the best in the business. I'm so disgusted. It's like, I don't even care. I don't even want to go there.
There's a gentleman I interviewed yesterday from Baltimore, Maryland, that leaderboard in the back office. Still, after their FTC cease and desist, if they don't publish hard numbers on LinkedIn, Facebook, but they're still in the back office. I did request from that gentleman to make a screenshot so I could send it to the FTCs so they'll get that $43,000 fine. As a good citizen, I'm trying to keep America safe. If you could get access to that screenshot where they're showing you the leaderboard, I'm not sure 100% if that's against the FTC regulation, but it influenced this gentleman to spend $200 on leads. How much leads did you spend total during this 1 year period that you were working for them?
The first year, 2020, I spent close to $30,000 in leads. I was really ramping up March or April, I think.
So almost the entire year you worked and you spent that amount of money. When did the leads take a sudden downturn?
That's the $1 million question. No, it was April or May of 2021. And I found that the garbage leads were the majority of what I was buying.
Were you still spending the same amount of money?
No, I couldn't, because by then I didn't have any credit left. So I had gone into debt for my business. I wasn't producing enough for cash flow. It was a steady decline, and then I crashed and burned. By June and July, I was just spinning my wheels, and I went to my immediate mentor. And let me tell you this, within that first year, my VP had moved me out from under his direct line and put me with someone else I hadn't even met yet. That was the best thing that ever happened to me, because that mentor, and I wish I could name him, he met me where I was at. In those last 2 months that I was with FFL, he helped me buy leads. He helped me with the dial team to help me do everything he could to see me succeed. My VP, he asked this guy, why are you helping Alene so much? And this gentleman said, if I had 100 agents that worked like Alene, oh my goodness, it would be amazing. I'd take 100 Alenes over anybody else.
The new mentor, did he tell you to buy leads from other places besides FFL CRM?
I don't remember specifically. It was mostly a game of buying the volume at a discounted price in order to book enough appointments to have enough chances to meet with people and sell. I think at that point we were just playing a numbers game to try to survive.
It was in that same bogus lead system that you
Primarily.
were working. When did you leave FFL entirely?
This mentor of mine and part of our team, we were a part of 2,000 agents that left FFL in August of 2020. That in itself was pretty traumatic. That started crazy outrage, and I lost the ability to service my clients through 3 carriers. One of them was Americo. They locked our access to those agent portals. It's been a huge struggle. The hardest thing is to remember that our FFL CEO and leadership always touts, we don't have any contracts here. If you want to leave, you go right ahead. But what we do is we treat our agents right, so they won't want to leave. Do you realize there are contracts? This has spurred on lawsuits like crazy. It's been difficult. Luckily, I've been able to get contracted with other carriers that are better price, better for the client, better for the agent. It's been a good and positive move, even though it's been so traumatic. A thought just occurred to me. My VP had the audacity to call me 2 times to try to recruit me back. Hey, just want you to know, you're always welcome here.
You and your lead money are always welcome.
Absolutely. Especially that lead money.
How much money did you spend in leads in 2021?
I'd have to break it up because that would have been the first 6 months of 2021. My total spend was close to 20-some thousand.
After the leads went south, when you knew garbage leads, garbage data was coming in, how much did you continue spending once you had a feeling that was garbage data?
That would be like March or April through June or July. Gosh, it wasn't much. Five or 6,000 maybe.
You could buy a car with that.
That's
real money.
I'm so disgusted. But that brainwashing, I think the hammering message, just buy more leads. Just buy more leads. Make more phone calls. Door knock. like a hammer.
I'm pretty sure that sales pitch that was all over LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, from hundreds and hundreds of profiles stating, we'll teach you how to make $250,000 a year, from hundreds of profiles. Average income on Indeed, according to Indeed.com, which is supposedly a reputable website which monitors average incomes, was $111,000. I'm pretty darn sure that was an incredibly successful recruiting technique. There were just so many more agents coming in competing for the same amount of data.
Yes, yes, you hit it spot on, David. We were encouraged to recruit from day one. Now I see why.
The main benefit of life insurance, which I'm sure you know now, is tax deferred than tax-free income.
Absolutely.
So if you end up selling a term life policy to a mortgage, a mom, dad, kid, they don't have a lot of money when they first bought that house. Eventually, you go back to that same person a year or two later. It's not what you make, it's what you save. And you sell these people a IUL or some sort of more substantial type of retirement plan. That's how insurance agents traditionally make money. If you do sell policy that's not the greatest deal, you're eliminating that market to sell that more substantial type of policy. In the insurance business, your income is supposed to go up every year, especially based on those conversions to permanent type policies.
Yeah, that's the idea. The training was, in particular, was sell what you're there for. If they want mortgage protection, and then you can go back a year later and upsell.
I do know that the New York Life, Mass Mutual, Northwest Mutual system, they really stress tax deferred, tax free, substantial type of policies. That's how those people make a living.
I don't have a comment about that.
It's not something that was stressed to really get these people good deals so they become a client for life.
I don't recall that specific training. The training had to do with, the clients for life is, getting referrals, children's policies. Once they become a client, you've got them in your book of business, then yes.
Did you get a decontract or lose your appointment with Americo?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I left FFL. Can I legally mention another company?
Okay, Alene, I want to mention what federal law is, so it'll make you feel very comfortable. Federal defamation law, which we all know about because of Johnny Depp and Amber, is Johnny had to prove to the court that Amber was malicious, hateful, and lying through her teeth. She knew she was lying. So there's virtually nothing you're going to say which falls into that category of defamation.
Right.
So it's America. America is a free speech country. Tell America what we need to know.
Well, so American Amicable did the same thing. Why they just shut us agents out once we chose to leave FFL, I don't know why.
Your contract was canceled for American Amicable and Americo, so you have no access to that back office.
I can't service my clients. And here's what else I wanted to mention to you, David, is that going back to my chargebacks, which just about sunk my ship. When other agents would come in, I would call to do policy reviews, and my clients would tell me, "Oh, Alene, your office already sent someone else out here."
Did
It wasn't me. I'm a sole proprietor. I'm running my own office in my own house. It wasn't me. And I had one client tell me, "Yeah, somebody from your office called and they wanted to come out here and just check on our policies." And I said, "No, I'm going to wait for Alene to call." So, I mean, I've got pretty good records of who's, been replaced. People coming in after me doing that monkey business. I'm very upset.
On the Greg Birch video interview, which whistleblower, he spills all. He specifically mentions churning, which obviously leads to elder abuse. I spoke to a few states, and they said they really can't prosecute or do anything unless they have specific instances of an individual who has the classic technique, buying the expensive policy first and the second policy afterwards. They said if I knew that information, I could actually file for that, and the state would do the investigate. The state would be happy to do the investigation. The state's job is to protect its citizens. It would probably better, in addition to you filing it or me filing it, that the client files it himself, him or herself, in the Texas Department of Insurance website. And I believe you filed a complaint with the Department of Insurance, state of Texas. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yep.
They're going to end up telling you the same thing. If they had all they need is one client, specifically on elder abuse, that's multiple years in jail. If you could supply the client, state of Texas, that information, hopefully I personally won't be in federal court in West Palm Beach. A trial is scheduled for defamation in April of 2023. Obviously, if the people are being prosecuted, or if the justice goes really fast and they're in jail, there's no one to complain because they're all in jail. That would be the ideal situation. I don't think it's going to happen that quick. You heard the Greg Birch interview. If there's enough of this churning, it's going to lead to elder abuse.
After that Greg Birch bomb that was dropped.
Whistleblower.
Whistleblower, that's it. Thank you. After that happened, within 24 hours, I get a text from my VP. Don't listen to what Birch put out on Facebook. He's lying to agents. So that was a text that went to probably everybody.
Alene, we want you to get a list to supply the state of Texas. Let the state do their investigation. There's so much information that you have. And in one of my rebuttals to the court system, I called this the Wolf of Wall Street on steroids. Do you say I'm exaggerating, or this could be?
That's probably 100%.
I gave the example of Madoff ripped off rich people, getting a bunch of new insurance agents. For the most part, these are poor people. These are people that don't have jobs. Get them in and give them this information, telling them that the way to become rich in this business is to buy leads. And I know, based on speaking to not thousands of agents, it could be tens of thousands of agents. I do that 6-day per week video conference call, and I know that's completely bogus. Pretty sure though that I am mentioning this on the 6-day per week video conference call day after day, that the insurance agent's job is to get in front of people. The insurance agent's job is to close deals. This is your responsibility. If you outsource the first part of the equation, which is getting in front of people, which you could say is lead generation, if you outsource that to a third party, that's not from the book of good ideas. Get people the good policies that they'll never be replaced. One thing that was not in the Greg Birch video interview, but he told me on the previous conversation, he physically said that Americo did not mind being replaced, which is really weird. If your profits are so high, when a percentage of these people keep it on year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, this particular lead selling IMO is such a high percentage of the clients are saying, hands up, whatever comes in is better than nothing.
Right. Well, see, they know in the recruiting process and the training, they're going to sell enough new policies anyway, that it's going to make up for the losses.
So you have no idea of who got replaced on Americo. Once you were locked out of the system, you stopped getting those emails saying your policy got replaced?
Well, yes and no. Now, here's the thing. This is really an irony in the whole thing. I was also thinking I was building my business well enough. I hired an admin for a couple of months, and I asked her to please do a printout of the different carriers and my list of contacts there, or go to the back office and at least give me a spreadsheet so that I can see, because this goes at a fast pace. From my Americo list before I was locked out, I can see what was lapsed or what was withdrawn, that kind of thing. So I would just need to dig a little deeper to find out exactly what happened that would fit in that definition. I'm so busy.
Everyone's busy. Everyone is busy. Everyone is busy.
Activities. I can't spend the time on that.
Okay. All it takes is one case.
Just one.
Of a 65-year-old person who bought a overpriced policy in January. They got resold a better deal in December. And that's multiple years in jail. The state needs that name. They need the address. They need the phone number. If it happens to be from the same insurance agent, that's really bad. If it's from the same lead selling IMO, I suppose it should be the same thing. Same punishment. Guy McCord from Texas, his videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Very, very well-spoken man. He spent $2,000 or $3,000 on leads. I believe he said 60 days. He tells me he's going to file a federal lawsuit. And I can tell you, based on the legal team that's stacked up against me, if you file anything, multiple lawyers who earn $1,200 per hour. According to what Guy tells me, according to federal law, it's treble damages, time and effort. So
Mhm.
if you're a regular American, nothing special. I'm not saying you're not special, but let's say you're not you. The average American makes $60,000 a year or $5,000 a month. 2 months of wasting guys' time, that's already 10. Treble that, that's 30. The lead cost is another 3 times 3, so that's he's up to quite a bit of change for the team that's attacking me. It's going after me to just to trying to destroy my personal life.
Mm, mhm.
They would have to spend at least 50, 60,000 on anything that's filed. The filing fee, from what I know, is 400 and some odd dollars. You file it to the people, file it to the owner of the company, which happens to be in Connecticut. That's why it's federal. I could give you the address of the 2 lawyers, because I suppose they could accept service as well.
Sure.
Then you go through a whole rigmarole. That's a word they use in the Northeast. At a certain point, you'll be asking for your time and effort and these lead costs which were bogus. If they were kind enough to tell you, hey, we're changing our lead system and now we're giving you data instead of leads, that would be mighty kind of you. You at that point, you probably would have said goodbye. I'll look for a different job. But I suppose they
Mhm.
never told you those words.
Never.
There's a termination with cause and without cause. If you're without cause, I'm pretty sure you continue getting the residual income of monies from the commissions that are generated in year 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But if it's with cause, they could cut you off completely and not give you any access to any records.
Mission from American Amicable on a residual. So does that come
So
under the without cause?
you're probably in good. You didn't do anything wrong. That's a big deal to get with cause. It means you did
Oh, okay.
something fraudulent. So are they giving you any commissions from Americo? Any
No,
any any correspondence of where your clients are?
no.
How many sales of Americo did you make?
I recognized they were so overpriced, and I was trying to do the best for my client.
How many sales did you make during this 1 year, 1.5 year period?
I don't know, my average month, on my peak months was between, 15 and 20,000 AP a month. I mean, I built up to that. To break that down into numbers, like how many Americans
How many clients did you have?
we're supposed to track everything.
I know, but this is a guesstimate. This is just a guess. These are not real numbers. 100 clients, 200 clients, 400 clients. Which one am I closest to?
Probably 200.
Okay, 200 clients. So we're talking 60 people specifically for Americo, another 30, 40 for American Amicable.
Yeah.
According to the Greg Birch interview, these are the 2 companies that are closest to FFL.
Who I'm locked out of.
If you look at the commission grid from FFL, if you Google the word FFL commission grid, if something pops up, you notice that Americo is much higher than American Amicable. I'm assuming that American Amicable is a more competitive type product because there's less commission built in.
That plus more lenient in their underwriting guides.
Okay, that's news to me. I did speak to one gentleman that said specifically he likes Americo because of DUI, driving under the influence, and
Mhm,
about 3% of his huge team's business
mhm.
goes to Americo specifically for those DUIs.
Okay.
And those type of situations. This was a gentleman that really knows what he's doing. So if he tells me this, I believe him.
Thinking in terms, David, of things like high blood pressure medication. Well, for in my experience, AmAm was more lenient towards that than Americo. So things like that.
If you actually compare these policies to, let's say, National Life Group or New York Life or Mass Mutual, in fact, if you go to the FFL commission grid, you notice that National Life Group had a much lower commission. Look at the benefits and the amount of coverage they get.
Sure.
There may be a big difference.
Can I tell you something? I have
Sure.
discovered why more than 90%, over 90% of life insurance agents quit in the first year. I'm just too stubborn to quit.
If you have the skill set of closing, which it seems like you do, you've got half the business covered. The only minor error you seem to have made is you trusted a third party to take care of the other half of your job. So if you do
Right?
your full job,
Mhm.
you may have a career. Imagine there's 2 tasks in a job and you decide, hey, I'll just do one of them. What I'd like you to do, Alene, if you help out the people of Texas, not only the people of Texas, throughout the United States, we
Mhm.
need to get the list of those 60, 70 Americo clients, the list of the 20 or 30. According to Greg Birch, he told me I don't have it on recording, but I'm being authentic, physically told me that Americo doesn't mind being replaced. So if that's true, you will see the numbers based on what you told me about you being locked out of their system is pretty. So you're getting no residual monies from Americo.
Correct. I'm not.
I'm pretty sure they have good second year commission for that company.
I don't
And you're
know.
not saying it. You have no access to the records, no nothing. And when you called them up, what did they tell you?
I did call them up and they said, since you are no longer an agent here, we're not able to talk to you. We're not able to let you have access to your client records. And I said, well, what if my clients need their policy serviced? Okay.
I don't want to keep you too busy, but it sounds like you have a second lawsuit to file because that's
Oh,
really weird. Or a
right.
Department of Insurance complaint. That is weird. You're supposed to. So you would have no idea if these people got replaced unless you called them each individually.
Exactly. Right.
So
I'm
according to
surprised my admin printed out a list. Otherwise, I'd have nothing except my file folders and my, cabinet to go through. So
according to the Greg Birch whistleblower interview, the assumption is that he is telling the truth based on his voice. He sounds like he's telling the truth. The assumption is that there would be a lot of replacements.
absolutely.
Hopefully you'll be ambitious and really have a love for the American people by showing up at the defamation trial in April of 2023, if it's going to occur. Ideally, what I'm doing is I'm interviewing a lot of people. If I call you as a witness, it probably means that the plaintiff will do a position of you with their $1,200 an hour attorney. So you can imagine that's going to get pretty expensive. You personally don't have anything to worry about, in my opinion, as long as one is truthful. As I mentioned about that New York Times ruling from 1964. So you could literally show up at the deposition and laugh at them. Hey, you want to spend 5, 6, 7 hours deposing me? Let's have a good time. This is all it's doing is costing you money. It
Wow.
doesn't mean you have to show up at trial because according to the federal rules, I can only send out a subpoena for someone to appear at trial within a 100-mile radius. What goes on in West Palm Beach stays there.
Thank you for your time, David. I appreciate you hearing me out.
Go through that list so you can get very specific on your Texas Department of Insurance complaint. I'll try to figure out what Guy McCord is doing on his federal lawsuit. And maybe I'll figure out where I could have a template type system where anyone in their local community could do a filing themselves.